everybody. Today is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. My name is Amy. I'm Fiber Arts Amy here and on Instagram. Today is not a floss tube though, or a quilting video. Here comes my dog. You can get over the cord. Come on. There you go. I am coming to you today to let you know that my new website to sell my hand-dyed fabrics, my hand-dyed cross-stitch fabrics, is up and running. This is Freya, in case you don't know her. I will link the website down below. Everything seems to be working correctly. So I'm just going to introduce, I'm going to talk to you guys about it, and I'm going to show you a bunch of my fabrics. I don't think this will be a super long video. Again, I'm not doing any normal floss tube stuff. I'm just going to show the fabrics I've been dyeing and that are now available for sale at my Oak Crown Studios website. And I'm super excited. I'm very, very excited. This has been a wonderful experience thus far. I have a ton of confidence in my dyeing abilities and in my cross-stitch abilities, in my quilting abilities. I do not have any confidence in my website building abilities. So let me just talk about that for just a minute. First of all, when you go to the website, please know this is a first attempt at the website. Things will be getting added and improved pretty regularly for the foreseeable future. If you go to the contact page, I have a blurb there about the fabrics that you all should read. It basically goes through a lot of the standard things you guys are used to seeing when shopping for cross-stitch fabrics, including talking about what the size of the different fabrics is, what a fat quarter, what a fat half is. You should know for Ada, I am doing a standard fat quarter, which is what you would get like from 1-2-3 Stitch. Some dyers don't go by fat quarter and fat half, and some do. So you might want to look there and make sure you know what size fabric you're getting, because for Ada, it's different. A fat quarter is different than it is for linen or Lugana. What else? I'm going to forget like a million things. Right now, when you go to the website, for almost all of the colors, you will see a linen and either a Lugana or an Ada. I have not dyed all of the colors on both a Lugana and an Ada. For the most part, I was dyeing a linen, which is where you're going to get usually the most vibrant colors, and then either a Lugana or an Ada. So for right now, there's only images for those two things. I will add images as I dye. But let's say you go to the website and you see a color you really want on Ada, but there's no picture of it on Ada. For the most part, the Ada is going to dye very similarly to the linen. But if you just send me a message, you can use the contact form on the website, or you can contact me. Here's not a great idea because sometimes comments seem to go AWOL. But maybe on Instagram, you can always DM me on Instagram and be like, hey, Amy, I'd really like to see color such and such, but on Ada or on Lugana or whatever. And I'm happy to dye it for you so you can see it before deciding if you want to buy it. I'll put that like, top priority to get that dyed for you. And as I'm going over the next few weeks and months and probably years, I will make sure I get all of those images up there. I will get everything dyed and up there. But if I waited till everything was perfect, the site was never going to go up and the business was never going to get started. So that's why you see that. So also if you go in and you see, because I've already had a question about it, I try to give you in the description for each color a DMC equivalent or a DMC approximation, because they're not necessarily equivalents, but I try to give you the closest DMC on each of the fabrics that I've dyed. If you only see one for linen and Lugana, it's because I didn't dye Ada in it yet. Or if you only see one for linen and Ada, it's because I haven't dyed the Lugana yet. So, yeah. What else? Oh, okay, so color fastness, wash fastness. All of the fabrics that I'm dyeing are wash fast in my water. The thing that is helpful to know about dyeing in general, any kind of dyeing, the water you're dyeing in has a huge impact on the wash fastness. Something can be running completely clear in my water, and if I take it to somebody else's home with different water, a ton of dye might come out, or it might not. It really depends on your water and what's going to dissolve in it and what isn't. So if you plan on washing your cross stitch project, you should pre-wash these fabrics before you dye. I think you should do it with Synthrapol. It's designed to pull out and hold on to excess dye molecules so they don't redeposit. But also Dawn dishwashing liquid is likely to do just as well. You just may have to rinse it a lot more. I, at this point, would stitch with any of these fabrics and feel confident that they aren't going to bleed when I wash them when I'm done with my stitching. But that's because I'd be washing it in the same water I dyed them in. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. And also, most of you probably already know this, but much darker colors, especially blues and reds, and therefore purples, are your most likely to bleed or to cause problems. What else? What else to talk about before I... Oh, so I put in there a 4 to 6 week lead time for fabrics, although I hope it will be much faster. I already have a couple of orders, so hopefully I will figure out what I'm doing with those orders. Please, I'm saying basically, please be kind. Okay, I've never done this before. I've dyed plenty. I've never set up a website or fulfilled an order before. This is all entirely new to me. Thankfully, my first couple of orders are from some friends who will be kind to me, but I need to, like, there's just still a lot I need to do. And everything I'm doing, it's like the first time, right? It's the first time I've done these things. So please just be kind to me. I've had some questions already about the Queen City Stitch Retreat, and if I'm bringing any fabrics to sell at the Queen City Stitch Retreat. I am, but I'm not going to be setting up a shop. A thing from Nora Corbett on Patreon just popped up. I might have to check that out later. I'm not setting up an official shop at the Queen City Stitch Retreat because our vendor is Grace Note Stitchers. I'm going to have a lot of fabric with me. I will bring what I have to sell. I have a point of sale device thing that I can connect to my phone, and I don't know how to use it yet, but we'll figure it out. But if you do want to see the fabrics that I have and buy something, if you're coming to the Queen City Stitch Retreat, just let me know, and grab me while we're there, and I'll bring people up to my room or something to see the fabrics that I have, and you can definitely buy what I have there. I am also going to bring a bunch of one-of-a-kind fabrics there because I have a bunch of those that I can sell. That at least at this point, I'm not going to go to the trouble of putting up on the website. When you go to the website, you're going to see that there's 2 collections on the main page. So I've divided them into the Exemplar collection and the Shadows collection. So the Exemplar collection is basically all of most of my fabrics will go in the Exemplar collection. Those are the fabrics dyed on a neutral background, like a white, off-white background. That's typically what you see on a hand-dyed fabric website, okay, or fabrics that are dyed on that like white background. But then I also have a Shadows collection in there because I love fabrics like you're going to see in the Shadows collection. So those are dyed on, typically going to be dyed on right now they're all linen in there, but they're dyed on a natural linen background, which gives you a very different look to the fabric. You don't get as pure of a color because it's on this like grungier natural linen background, and I love how that looks. So that's what you see in those 2 collections. I think there's 26 colors on the website right now. Ultimately, there will be a lot more, but that's just what I have right now. Also, just so you know where I'm going with all of this, I also hope and plan to offer hand-dyed quilting fabrics in each of these colors. I've already sampled most of the colors on quilting fabric. So that fabric that fabric I want to offer in part for you cross stitchers out there. Some of you might want to use it for finishing, buying fat quarters to finish a small pillow or whatnot. I'll show it on another video, but personally, I love how the fabric is dyeing, how the quilting fabric is dyeing. It looks so good. I can't wait to work with it. But then also some of you quilters may want to use those fabrics for quilting and not just for like smalls and finishing and whatnot. I have some big plans of what I'm going to do with the quilting fabric. But first I wanted to make sure that we got the cross stitch fabric up and going before I started offering the quilting fabric. But just know that'll be coming at some point. The other thing that I would really like to do is to offer some cross stitch fabric with natural dyes. I don't know how much of a market there is for that. But it's not a huge expense for me to kind of, dabble in it or put a little bit of it up. There's all kinds of options for natural dyeing, and you get a lot of the colors that are true to reproductions. And I'm going to say in my opinion, but I think that's also historically, factually correct. If you're dyeing with indigo and madder root and that sort of thing, these are the same dyes that were commonplace and relatively easy to access a couple hundred years ago, right? When a lot of these samplers were happening. There were other ways to get, dyes as well, but they were typically much more expensive and difficult to come by. So I would like to also offer some naturally dyed fabrics. And that's easy to do on like an individual basis, meaning I don't need to be like doing a ton, selling a ton of that in order to make it kind of worth it for me to do it. But if you're interested in that, let me know. I'm very curious how many people might be interested. I have started some stitching on some of my fabrics. This kind of prompted me to, this business venture prompted me to start doing some stitching on some of my fabric, or start some of the projects that I had kitted up with some of my fabrics. So like Nightingale, Maribelli's Nightingale, I started on my indigo dyed fabric. So anyway, right now we've got the 2 collections on the website. You guys are welcome to go shopping and place your orders. I would love to fill your orders for you. The 4 to 6 weeks is approximate because I haven't done this before. I think I can get orders out in 4 to 6 weeks, no problem, like easily. If that becomes a problem, certainly I'll let you guys know, and or I will change that lead time. But looking down the line, I'm hoping to add quilting fabrics, my hand-dyed quilting fabrics, and also some naturally dyed fabrics, as well as a ton more colors to the website, and get caught up with having pictures of everything on linen, Aida, and Lugana. Okay, you guys want to see some fabrics? I've already been babbling for 13 minutes. I haven't even showed you guys some fabrics. Okay, I'm just going to go through what I have. I have this huge stack of fabric here. It's so pretty. If you want an accurate representation of what the color is, I would go to the website. You guys know from watching floss tubes, I'm sure that it can be hard on here to get color to come across accurately. I spent a long time trying to make sure that my pictures on the website really matched my my fabrics accurately. Now, of course, that's on my monitor. Monitors vary. Yours might look different. But I worked really hard at that, and there's only so much I'm going to be able to do for each fabric as I'm filming here to make sure they're accurate. So if you see something you like, I'm still going to, we got to go to the website to order it anyway. But take a good look at the pictures on the website. Also, if you have requests, if you're like, I'm looking for a really grungy green color, whatever it is, tell me. I'm like having so much fun with dye right now and just experimenting and trying all sorts of colors, and I'd be happy to help. Okay, so first one, this one's Riding the Waves. This is just a really beautiful blue. It's got a little bit of like purpley periwinkle in there. This is on linen. This is on a 32 count linen. And this one is on 32 count Lugana. Most of the fabrics up there are on, the pictures are going to be on 32 count linen or Lugana, or 16 count Aida. Some of them are on 36 count linen. I stuck with 32 because I feel like it's kind of a lot of people's comfort, spot. Especially, I figure I have a lot of viewers who stitch Mirabilias, and a lot of people stitch Mirabilia on 32 because it's a called for. Okay, this one's Orange Sherbet. It's got pinks and oranges and a little bit of yellow in there. I have ironed everything. You can see it's still a little bit wrinkled though, because linen's so hard to get perfectly flat unless you iron it like still really damp. I'm hoping my ironing game will improve. I also have serged all the edges. You all should, oh my gosh, it's still not a serged edge. I have serged all the edges. I just kept showing you the selvage edge. I learned how to use my serger for this. This is Orange Sherbet, or Orange Sherbet. That was on linen. This is on Lugana. So you can see the Lugana dye is like a lot lighter. The color is still definitely there, but it's a lot lighter. This one is Peony. Pinks. Kind of purpley toned pinks. That one's on linen. This is it on Aida. And I don't have my ring light on right now because I actually think the colors kind of work better without it. We'll see. This one's a 36 count linen. This one's Stone's Throw, which I love. That one I'm going to stitch a ton on. Some of you have heard me say that I prefer a gray to a like tan for like samplery and primitive stuff. This is going to get a lot of use in my house. And that's Stone's Throw. And so I'm showing you fabrics, right? I've just dyed like, something of everything so that I have, can sample the colors. So some of you, if you order something, you might get lucky and I'll have what you've ordered and I'll send it right out. But for the most part, this is going to be a dyed to order thing. This is Stone's Throw on 16 count Aida. Shadow off there. Oh, it's so good. I feel like this is a gray that I've been looking for. I will use that a ton. Okay, this one I should have called Maggie. This is Raspberry Sorbet. This is my Maggie fabric. Maggie meaning Kitschy Whips. Maggie needs some of this in her life. It's like these bright fuchsia pinks with a bit of purple pop. That's on linen. And this is the Raspberry Sorbet on Lugana. So you can see still definitely color, right? But it's much more muted, like if I hold them together. Whereas like if we look at Stone's Throw on linen and Aida, they're almost the same. And sometimes the cotton and Aida dyes even more brightly than the linen. The quilting cottons look amazing. I'm going to save that for a different video. Okay, so this one's got a story behind it. And I'm going to open it up. This one's Coral Gardens. This is what happens when my daughter wants to be involved in my business. So my daughter was like, I need to come up with a color. And she was so excited about the name. I told the story. Was it on my last floss tube? Yeah, she was like, Mom, you're never going to, I have the best name. You're going to love it. And she dyed this piece of fabric. And then she's like, you want the name? I was like, yeah, what's the name? She's like, Coral Gardens. And I do love the name. So this is Coral Gardens on Lugana. And actually what I would see myself doing with this is a smaller piece like this and stitching like one of the Nora Corbett pixies. Because that to me looks, it could look like Coral Gardens, but it also looks kind of like a field, a meadow full of flowers to me. That's just me. That's on Lugana, so it's a bit lighter. Wait till you see how vibrant the linen is. So when I look at the linen, the linen's quite something. But same thing, I could see using a smaller piece, like cutting this in half, and stitching like a pixie or something on it. So, and also when I see how vibrant it is on the linen, what this actually reminds me of, for all of you knitters out there, there used to be a company called Lorna's Laces, She's actually dying under a different company name now. But Lorna's Laces put out a colorway called Zombie Barbecue, which was awesome. It was kind of like acid greens and like pinky reds, and I knit my husband a hat out of it. It's like the coolest hat. So this reminds me of Zombie Barbecue. So when I see it on the linen, I think of like a Halloween piece. That's just where my brain goes. Okay, this one I love. This one's called Lurking in the Woods, and it's like greens and browns. Okay, so I'm having the murky, picture this plus murky problem here, where it's not coming across very accurately. Definitely look at this on the website if you're interested in it. It blends better in real life than what it's showing there. It's just not that stark of a contrast. When I dyed this, I immediately thought of Dark Queen of the Earth from Autumn Lane. I haven't started mine yet, so this is probably what I'm going to stitch it on. I love it. This is Lurking in the Woods on linen, and this is the same fabric on Lugana. So you can see how much of a difference there is. It's significant. The linen is much, much darker. And that's because the fabric content is just different, and different fabrics take the dye differently. There's a lot less of the green in this, although it is still there. So that's on Lugana. This one I'm going to keep playing with, but this one, I actually love how it turned out. I'm calling Fairy Lights. I was trying to kind of get something that evoked like dark woods at night, but with like bursts of color or light in the background. And I love how it turned out. This is on linen. I also would probably use a smaller cut of this. Like if I got a fat quarter, I would probably cut it in half and use it as 2 fat eighths and stitch some pixies on here. You know what would look so good? Nora's Bewitching Pixies. That would look amazing. Because the gray is dark enough that some of the black would really stand out, but you've got these pops of color that mimic the dresses in those pixies really, really well. I think that's what I need to do. I think I need some Bewitching Pixies on here. Oh, that would look so good. And then this is the same fabric on Lugana, which I also love it on the Lugana. I think it turned out great. You can't see the blue quite as well. The blue pops in this specific piece. There's a good one right there, though. The pink came through really well on the Lugana. I also tried to, you might notice this on the website, I tried to do like a good mix of kind of more subtle fabrics and some that are more wild and crazy. Because everybody stitches, has different stitching styles and likes different things. This is Sunflower on linen. I love this. So this is like my kind of yellow. I'm not a huge yellow person, but there's times when it looks so good. I would stitch on this in a heartbeat. I'd stitch almost anything on this. This is beautiful. A garden piece would look really good on this. Oof, love that. That's Sunflower on linen, and here's Sunflower on Ada. Looks really very similar. I'll hold them together. And again, the DMC equivalents I give on the website, those are like the closest approximations I could get. This one is probably my favorite. This is Fairy Moon on linen. This is showing in the camera more more contrasty than it is in real life. It's more like blended. The colors blend into each other better in real life. But it's so good. And I called it Fairy Moon because that's what I need to stitch on her. Unfortunately, I already have her as a whip on a different fabric, and it's like pretty far along. So I might stitch her twice, or at least get her started a second time, because Fairy Moon is gorgeous. This is 16 count Aida. Same thing, the colors blend a bit better in real life, but it's purples. Purple's tending to blue and then also to pink. Oh, so good. I posted that one on Instagram because it's so beautiful. This one's Kiwi. This is Kiwi on linen. And this is Kiwi on Aida. Again, they're very similar on Aida and linen. Hope my stack doesn't fall over. Okay, this is another favorite of mine. This is Mushroom Stew. Look at those browns. And I mean, if you ask me why the names, I don't know. The name is whatever the fabric made pop into my head when I saw it. Again, same thing, it blends better in real life. It's not quite as, like the contrast between the colors isn't quite as stark. Blends a little bit better. But yeah, this is Mushroom Stew. And Kelly, Pages and Stitches, Kelly, I can't say the word mushroom without thinking of you now. And this is Mushroom Stew on Lugana, because I know Kelly loves mushrooms. That's probably a really weird comment for me to make. So you see the difference between Lugana and linen for Mushroom Stew is quite significant, but it's still beautiful on both. You can see the colors come across really well there. I'm more than halfway through. Well, I'm probably about halfway through. This one is Taffy. This was also me kind of channeling my inner Maggie. This is it's even brighter than it's showing in the camera there. This is a very bright yellow with little pops of a little bit of pink in it, like a light pink. That's on, I only have this one on linen, okay? So if you wanted this in Lugana or Aida, eventually I'll have pictures there anyway. But let's say you're like, oh, I might want Taffy, but I'm not sure what it'll look like. Just message me and I can put it high on my priorities to dye some of this on whatever you want, whether it's Lugana or Aida. So you can see what it looks like and decide if you want to order it. This one, okay, I have to explain the name for this one. The name of this is Fish Free. Oh, my husband's texting me. The name is Fish Free. The reason it's fish free. My daughter really wants to be involved in this business. All my kids do, but my daughter especially. And she really likes helping me name fabrics. And same thing I said for some of the others. This is a pretty good representation right there. But sometimes I would say, if anything, the colors blend a little more than they do on the camera. So the reason it's fish free is because when I was gathering this one up, my daughter was like, that is the ocean. That is exactly the ocean, but like without any fish in it. So it's fish free. Like calorie free without any calories. This is fish free without any fish, but it's the ocean. And I was just like, that name is too darn cute, and I'm going to stick with it, even though it sounds awkward if you don't know the story. So this one's fish free, and this one absolutely needs a mermaid. Sooner rather than later. Although I can also easily see it as sky with like a great fairy in front of it. I think Adia in particular would look amazing on here. Mirabilia's Adia, the garden fairy, look stunning. Or any of the fairies that she has like on tree branches. This is fish free on Lugana. I should put the stories of the names on the website. I've kind of had it with a website right now. I've just spent like a week straight doing nothing but the website. Need a little bit of a break from tinkering with the website. But so linen and Lugana. And there is some green in there, like some subtle green. Okay, Morning Dew. I love this one also. So this is Morning Dew on Lugana. Blues and greens. Definitely good for a fairy. Also for a mermaid, but definitely for a fairy. I want to show you what I'm stitching on it. So that was it on Lugana. This is Morning Dew on linen. So I actually had this opalescent, this is a 28 count opalescent linen for my stash that I had in white, and I went ahead and dyed it with the Luganas, and I love it. It is so bright. It's a little bit more yellow toned than what you're seeing in the camera. It's like really, really bright. And this is, I just started this a couple days ago. This is one of Nora's moths. One of those moths that you see from, I don't remember which one. I have it right next to me. I don't have a picture. Miss Aurora Morpho. But right now all I have is her back and like the top of her head. This is one of those small moths where it's just like a back view, so you see the wings and they're wearing those cute little boots. So this is it on linen. Love that one. This one is also very me. This is Lilac Festival. Oh, I love it. It's purples and kind of pinky purples. It's a little more saturated than I feel like what you're seeing on the camera there. I love how this turned out. Just a lovely kind of light lavender color. And this is it on Lugana. I was actually impressed with how it came out on Lugana, because sometimes the lighter colors, it's harder to get them to come out on Lugana. And again, you're like this is almost a hard line you're seeing in the camera, and in real life, it's just more subtle, right? You don't see as much contrast there. I don't want my stack to fall on my dog. All right, this one is called Rain is Coming. It's a grayish blue. That's really pretty. It's a little more blue than what you're seeing there. I would stitch almost anything on that. Same thing here. This is the Rain is Coming on Lugana, and I'm going to tell you again, a little more blue and less contrast in real life. If left up to my family, half of these would be rain something, but I've got two rain in here. This is Rainy Day. So the other one was Rain is Coming. This one's Rainy Day. This one's on 32 count linen. Same thing. I would stitch almost anything on this. It's beautiful. Good for almost anything. And same color on Lugana. See the difference. This one is Clear Skies. It's a bit more saturated in real life. It's a light kind of aqua blue. And this is it on Ada. The colors are very, very similar. So linen and Ada. And then this is Tiki Oasis, a really bright kind of turquoise blue. This is it on linen. And this is Tiki Oasis on Lugana. So quite a difference. And this still is definitely an aqua or turquoise blue, but it's so much more vibrant on the linen. Okay, so those that I've shown you so far are what I put in my Exemplar collection. And you can click on the website on the main page. There's an Exemplar collection and a Shadows collection. You can click on either one of those to just see what's in the collection, or you can click on something at the top and it'll give you everything. You can view all the colors all at once. So these, and there's one of them I don't have here, and I kind of wish I did. But these are some of my Shadows collection. So I know there's one of them missing. There's like a bluish one, because I have it upstairs, because if I had not run out of steam last night, was going to start a mermaid on it. So these are mine that are dyed on a natural linen base. And I just love the depth of color that it gives. It's stunning. I love the way these turn out. So this one's Pumpkin Spice, because how could I call it anything other than pumpkin spice? And of course this one's screaming for some Halloween stitches, but maybe other stuff too. I love it. I really love it. I don't know, I like having an option that isn't, that's still a deep, dark, or vibrant color, but not because of dye, if that makes sense. Like, this is darker and it gives much more tone to, and much more mood to what you're stitching. But it's that mood is due in large part to the actual natural linen that you see peeking through, right? It makes it this much darker fabric without it being just due to dye. It like still leaves it kind of with a more prim look, or a more historical look, or a more kind of rustic look without as much dye. Like, the dye doesn't have to do as much work because the fabric itself is coming through. I love this effect. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm guessing I'm not. I'm guessing there's at least some of you out there who are like, oh yeah, that's awesome and I want it. So this one's moss. So this was like a kind of a brighter green, again on that natural linen. Oh, I wanted to say too, so for right now, I only have these listed on linen because it's dyed on natural linen. I have intentions to experiment with Aida and Lugana as well, though. There is a linen Aida that I think I might be able to get to do something similar. And I'm wondering about dyeing on like a mushroom Lugana, if I can get sort of a similar effect. It won't be the same, but that's in my mind, but it's not urgent priority. If one of you out there is like an Aida stitcher and you see one and you're like, I really want that one, but on Aida or Lugana or whatever, let me know and I'll put that at like the top of my list to try to get going, okay? This one I named Haunted Mansion. My husband told me Disney was going to sue me. I don't think they are, because I feel like Haunted Mansion, like, I'm not just referencing like the movie, I'm referencing like a haunted mansion. Like, there's a million Haunted Mansion cross stitch pieces out there and any of them would look good on this. Again, I would say it's not quite as stark contrast in real life. It feels like it blends better in real life, but this is a purpley one. And there's going to be more of these shadow fabrics because I love them. This one's Dark Rose, named with the help of my daughter. Oh, I love that. Maggie, I'm looking at you for this one too. And this is Midnight Harvest, named by my husband. Midnight Harvest. Oh, I love it. I could totally see Hawthorne Hollow on here. I think a Hawthorne Hollow would look good. I think Halloween at Hawthorne Hollow would look great. It would give you like that nice, spooky, moody background. Again, without, but it still has like a natural feeler look to it that I feel like lends itself really well to the Hawthorne Hollows. Oh, that's so good. There's one more in the Shadows collection, like I said, is not here. Okay, sorry I just clapped kind of by accident. I hope that wasn't too loud in y'all's ears. That's it. Those are my fabrics so far. They're so pretty. They're so good. Of course, now I can put them away. They've just been hanging out up here for ages. Those are my fabrics so far as they stand. Like I said, website's live. I will put the link below. Feel free to shop your little hearts out. Sorry, I'm still getting messages. And please message me with questions. The fastest ways to reach me are going to be either using that contact form on the website, or especially if it's about like, don't message me on the website about like Queen City Stitch Retreat or something. But if it's about Oak Crown Studios, do that there. Or you can DM me on Instagram anytime, either at my Oak Crown Studios page or Fiber Arts Amy. Either one will work. People have asked also, I was going to mention why Oak Crown Studios. It's kind of a family like joke, sort of. When we first moved to this house, and I live in like, my house was built in 1966. It's not huge. It's not tiny, but it's not huge. It's kind of what I think of as like your typical 1960s American house. It's not grand. It's not the sort of house you wouldn't typically name. But it was just like a joke to my husband and I. We have this huge oak tree in the front yard, and so we kind of jokingly named our house Oak Crown. I don't know. We did. And so when we were doing this, I was like, how about Oak Crown Studios? And the name stuck. Yeah, so that's it. I could babble all day. I'll try not to. I hope you guys, those of you who stuck around, enjoyed the video, enjoyed seeing the fabric. I've gotten some amazing support already from some of my friends who have known that I've been working on this for a long time. So thank you to all of you. And thank you to all of you who stuck around and watched and who are going to go check out the website. And I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy your stitchy time. Bye, guys.